So good morning and welcome to my lecture today. We're going to describe today about the cloud classification. In the previous two lecture, we have discussed about the formation procedure of cloud, haze, uh, frost, dew, and different other atmospheric phenomena. And we also looked at on the energy balance and energy budget in the atmosphere. So now today we are going to describe about the different types of cloud, how we can classify them and what are the different characteristics they have. Depending on their nature, how we can uh, also get some idea and some knowledge about to distinguish the clouds in our open eye. Although there are different technologies nowadays also improved so that many people can also distinguish these cloud types, and they can also measure the amount of the rainfall and other factors that is related to cloud. And much of the different uh, research is going on through with the cloud, because I described the significance of the cloud in atmospheric phenomena before. So in our open eyes, we need to also distinguish these clouds so that we can understand their nature and we can expect the different contribution of precipitation from different types of clouds to the ground. So before we start our cloud classification, we just try to understand few of the words, meaning of the words, so that when we will go for name for each of the cloud, then you can understand little bit of their nature, because each of the cases, the nature depends on different aspect. For example, you see the left side, there is kilometer named is in here, kilometer. Why it is, why we are interested about the kilometer? We are interested about this kilometer because
Sir,
depend,
to know about the extension in the atmosphere.
sorry.
Sir, to know that how long they extend in the atmosphere, sir.
Yes, but you can also expect in the changing of their behavior also. If you see these clouds, can you see my cursor of?
Yes, sir.
So if you see this cloud, it remains in the 9 to 12 kilometer. So as we know before in the first chapter, we have described that if you go to from the ground to the higher altitudes, you will lose 6.5 degree temperature from each of the kilometer. So if you go 9 kilometer above, then if your ground temperature is, for example, 30 degrees centigrade, then 9 kilometer above, your temperature will be 6.5 multiplied by 9. Okay. And then minus 30 degree. So it is almost minus 20 degrees in there. So minus 20 degree means this cloud is made up of with ice crystals, rather than this cloud is made up of with rain. That means liquid water droplets. So altitude is very important. That's I wanted to mention here. So depending on the appearance, how it is looking like, depending on the compositions, what are the things that can made up with that, because different characteristics is also depend on the basis of the composition. So this cloud is looking gray in color. This cloud is purely white in color. Some of the cloud is showing two different colors, gray and white. So depending on the composition and depending on the height, we can classify the classification. Cloud classification, although from the long time, the atmospheric science has been started to grow, and many scientists described different things in the atmosphere, and they classify that things also. But cloud classification is not very long before has been started. So in 18th century, actually, on scientists started that, and later several other scientists, they wanted to improve it, And finally, at the present context, although there you can differentiate it with different characteristics, but we do expect and we do like to describe it in a more general format, which is 10 different types of clouds. So 10 different types of clouds can be classified in 3 different layers. One is high, one is middle, and another is the lower level. So in the higher level, we can expect 3 different subclasses. In the middle level, we expect 2 different subclasses. And in the lower level, we expect five different subclass of the clouds. Why cloud classification is important and why it is interesting? I think it is very interesting for most of you, because cloud is a thing that gives us the variety and the way out of the monotonous blue color sky to see. So if there was no cloud in the sky, if there is no cloud, how the sky is looking like? Always it is blue, no? So cloud give us the cloud is very interesting, and many people love to see that. And most important thing is, some clouds give you the much amount of the rainfall. Other clouds, even you see a huge amount of the cloudy structure or cloudy environment, but that will not give you much of the rainfall. So if you know the classification, you can also expect that from each of the cloud, you can say that this cloud will give you rainfall, much of the rainfall, or little bit rainfall, or no rainfall also. So you can say that if you know the classification. And also you can also say that this cloud will give you the for example, lightning or thunderstorm. And some of the clouds, even though it is very hazy in nature, even though it is cloudy in nature, cloudy environment, but you can say, no, this cloud will not give you the thunderstorm because this is classified differently. This cloud is remaining in here. This nature is like this. So that will not give you the enough lightning or thunderstorm from this type of cloud. So you can say that if you know the classification. So I think this is much more interesting, and this will only be successful if you have more practice. If you go every time to see, and then you can also expect your eyes to be very experienced, and with a careful observation you can classify them. So before we classify that, we need to know few words which is related to cloud naming. So these words are Siro, means curl of hair or bending of hair, or we can say this means high. So anything name is Siro, you can say this cloud is in the high level. That means this cloud poses a different characteristics, lower temperature, ice crystals, you can say that. Alto means mid, so mid-level cloud is named after Alto. And in associated with Siro, Alto, you can also expect some other type of words, which is strato, cumulo, or nimbo. Strato means layer. So you have layers of your clouds, but that is not distinguished with high amount of the thickness. So layer clouds can give you the idea about the layer after layer, but that is not piled up. That is not one after another. So it is only a horizontal layer. So strato means layer. And if you see any type of name is which is comprised of cumulo, then you can say this is a heap-like structures. Heap means any materials piled up haphazardly. That means heap. So heap-like structures means many things one after another you put up, and that created a pile, and that pile remained haphazardly, not very in a good size and good shape or design. So it can be piled up materials. And anything is nimbo, named as nimbo, you can expect much of the rainfall or precipitation from that type of clouds. So we can classify that things with our experienced eye, and then we can say differently. So now we are going to describe each of them. So just a quick understanding, you can see in the down level, there are 5 different types of cloud: cumulus, cumulonimbus, nimbostratus, stratocumulus, and stratus. So these are relatively within 3 kilometers, you see. And if you see the base, That means the base started from 2 kilometers. You see, very lower in a position. In the middle, we have two different clouds. One is altrocumulus and another is altostratus. In the high level, you can expect three different clouds: cirrostratus, cirrus, and cirrocumulus. And total height, if you expect, here is 12 kilometers. Sometimes it can also be extended a little bit higher. Okay, and most of the cases it is within the troposphere. Just remember that troposphere is started from 11 kilometers rather than from 11 or 12 kilometers. It started the stratosphere. So before that, every important clouds that can be found inside the troposphere. This is also important because when you say that our cloud that can be extended up until the tropopause or troposphere, that means that will be give you the idea about the temperature reduction, because after 12 kilometers, when it started to stratosphere, that means your temperature will be increased again. So that when the temperature will be increased again and until a certain conditions, your cloud will be no more in there. Only the presence of water vapor can be a little bit in there because of the high temperature. So cloud is an important characteristic that remain in the troposphere, and they can also be segregated in different layer based on their altitude. Another important thing is these altitude and also be changed depending on the location we are remaining. For example, if we are in a tropical region, so in the tropical region, the temperature of the downward is like today, the temperature is maybe 32, 31 like this now. Or in the same time, if you are in the higher latitude country, maybe in Europe, maybe in a Scandinavian country, Norway or Sweden, you can expect the temperature is like 4, 3 or 5 degrees centigrade. Now think about any of these clouds. If you go a little bit higher, for example, this stratus cloud, it started in very lower level up to 2 kilometers, and then in the 2 kilometers, the stratus cloud in the tropical region, it will be the temperature of the lower level will be like 15 degrees centigrade, for example. On the other hand, if you go to the Scandinavian country, if you go 2 kilometers above the ground, then your temperature will be -10. Why? Because the ground temperature is already 5 degrees centigrade. Can you understand me? Can you
Yes, sir.
understand what I am talking about? So depending on the location, your temperature will also be changed, and your height is also be changed. So which here showed, it is only an idea, but this can be a little bit varied in different regions. Somewhere it can be started from 1 kilometer, somewhere it started little bit higher in positions, depending on the altitudes where you are remaining in. Okay. And what is the height of your particular place from the mean sea level, that is also important. So now we are going to describe about each of them clouds. First of all, high level clouds. As we say, the high level cloud started from 6 kilometers above. That means after the mid level cloud, it can start it up from the 6 kilometer to the 12 kilometer or something more. So that can give you the idea of the high level clouds. And it is as it is in the high level clouds, that means that is also named after Cirro, because Cirro we also see here, Cirro means high or curl of hair. So we can expect these are the clouds, this one, and in the left side, this one. These are all high level clouds. That's why each of the cases, it is named after Cirro, cirrostratus, cirrus or cirrocumulus. So all are in the high level clouds. And this cloud is looking like very thin, streaky, white. These are their characteristics. Thin, you can understand. Streaky, what does streaky means? Streaky means that can give you some color of line, maybe different color, maybe grayish color, white color, or a little bit other color also. That can give you the idea. Okay, someone said Shubhra. Okay, I am having an connection problem. Can you please explain it again? That cloud chart. Okay, this one. Okay, so cloud chart. I said that depending on the altitude, we named after them, and that also different in different locations, because in tropical region, the height of this one maybe not exactly the height in the other region, because 2 kilometers above in the tropical region the temperature will be 15 degrees centigrade. On the other hand, if you go to the Europe or Latin or sorry the North America, then in 2 kilometers above maybe your temperature is -10. So depending on the characteristic location, your temperature will also be different, and your cloud formation will also be different. That's why it is important about the height of the altitudes. Okay, and now we are describing about the high level clouds. We just started from 6 kilometers above, and they have different sets of characteristics. As they are high enough, so they are mixed up with always or we can say mostly they are ice crystals, because they are remaining in the minus temperature, and water cannot remaining as a liquid form in that temperature. So they are actually in ice crystals, and they can also create some array. Array means some rays in different direction. So they can show some arrays of color in the clouds. I will now describe it. So 3 different types of high level clouds we can expect: cirrus, cirrostratus, and cirrocumulus. First of all, cirrus. So cirrus clouds are wispy, feathery, and composed of entirely ice crystals, looking like this. This cirrus cloud is looking like some brush has been just colored up, the white color brushing, and you can say this is a tail. Okay, and they are very wispy in nature, streaky in nature, and they are entirely composed of feathery like things, like some feather. No, they are not very compact, they are not very piled up in nature. So you can see this is looking like some brushing with the color that has been colored in here with some brush, and this is very thin in nature. So cirrus clouds started from long from far away. So we can, if you see in the sky this like of a structure, we can say this is cirrus clouds. And sometimes it is started to indicate that prevailing winds at their elevation, because this also showed we don't expect any rainfall from there, so that it can also shows that this is a condition of the pleasant weather, rather than we can expect any rainfall from this type of clouds. Another one, Professor, in what type of weather we can see cirrus clouds? What type of weather? I don't get your point, but mostly if you see this type of clouds, then your cloud will be very, your environment is very pleasant in nature. It don't give you any rainfall. So you can only see these clouds in the long distance in the sky. And in the sky, you can only see some of these thin layer of clouds from long ago. So you don't expect any thunderstorm or any type of bigger amount of the precipitation. So your environment is very cool in that time. Very nice. Cool means very nice, actually. More pleasant in nature. Is it okay, Pratyay? Pratyay? Sorry. Okay, sir. Okay. And then
sir, he is staying in village, sir. That's why he can't tell in voice, sir.
Yeah, yes. Okay, it's okay. Give me the SMS. Okay, fine. So this is cirrus clouds, and as I said, that can give different colors. So you see little bit different colors. Sometimes you can see if the angle is different, and finally fall the light from the sun in different angles, then they can also show different colors because of the ice crystals. On the other hand, cirrocumulus, these clouds is little bit different, and they are piled up in nature. You see, they are piled up in nature. And this is the cloud that can also expected in rippling form. Rippling means some smaller wave that can create a huge one. So wave after wave, that is rippling. So you see, these are looking like some rippling in a pond or in a watery form. Or sometimes this cloud also said that this is looking like some scales of the fish. So someone said this is mackerel sky. Mackerel is a name of a fish. So fish scales looking like fish scales, and you can also see tiny blue color inside. So from these type of clouds, although this type of clouds also made up with ice crystals, and that can also be looking like very piled up in nature, and they can also be different than this type of clouds. So this is a continuous brushing color, which is looking like some tails or feathery and wispy in nature. On the other hand, this can give you the idea about some scales or some rippling condition, and which is much more different than others. And you can also see the height is too high that from the ground, so that you can also distinguish it from another one. Another type of clouds is cirrostratus cloud, which is different than other tools. This cirrostratus cloud is veil-like structure, which doesn't cannot be distinguished differently. But sometimes, or most of the time, if you as this is very thin in nature, and then it is very long distance from the ground, so sometimes it create a hollow around the sun. What do you mean by hollow? Hollow means a color of the rounded shape from a luminaries, which is present in front of that luminaries, maybe in front of the sun or moon. That time it creates the hollow. You see this grayish color that create around the sun. It is created by the clouds, because cloud is in front of the sun. So this is your cloud, and in front of that you have these clouds, and it is very thin in nature with the ice crystals, which create the hollow. And this hollow is one of the characteristics that can make you understand this is cirrostratus cloud. Otherwise you cannot distinguish that cloud in the sky. You see, this is the clouds in the sky. How can you say this is what type of clouds? Maybe you can also confused with the cirrus, confused with the cirrus. So cirrocumulus can be distinguished very nicely if it is in front of the sun or moon. Then you can see the hollow, and you can also say this is a cirrostratus cloud. In another thing, you should also keep in mind that in case of looking like this one, in case of this is cirrostratus that create a hollow. On the other hand, in the middle level there is another cloud, altostratus, that can also be distinguished in looking like same, but these two are not the same. Cirrostratus can only create the hollow, but altostratus don't create hollow. It is looking like this sun or moon is floating in the water. So we can say this is watery sun, but we don't say this is watery sun. We can say this is a hollow. So cirrostratus, to distinguish it, we can say this is a hollow. And we can also expect that this is also created around the sun. Subha also says, can different type of clouds occupy the same area's sky? Generally no, but different strata it can be possible. For example, if you have some high level clouds, and in the middle level clouds you can see different types of clouds. So you cannot expect in where the cirrostratus takes place that where is also cirrus takes place. It cannot be possible, but it's also possible little bit difference from one another. Okay, maybe in between that two, maybe some 2 kilometer gaps, but from the ground you cannot. Maybe sometimes you might be confused if the difference is too near. Then you might be confused about that. But if the distance is different, for example, in case of altostratus, such like, for example, this one cirrocumulus, and if you have this one, this is ultracumulus. These two type of clouds is looking little bit similar, but there are differences. I will explain that, but you may be confused about that too. And now if you have ultracumulus, you cannot see cirrocumulus upper hand, but it is possible that in the high level cloud there is cirrostratus, there is cirrocumulus, and in the middle level there is altrocumulus. It is possible, but in here, if you see this is altrocumulus and here also be altostratus, it might not be possible. So in the same level, you cannot expect two different clouds at a time. It might be possible if the distance is quite enough. Is it clear, Suva? Okay. Okay. Now we are in here. We are describing about the cirrocumulus. So cirrocumulus is looking like Fahim Rani sir, which type, if the cloud help to form rainfall of, which type of cloud help to form rainfall? Well, I'm going there. I'm going each of them one after another. So you can see which type of cloud will give you the rainfall. So this type of cloud which we are going to describing now, they don't give you much of the rainfall, but very low amount sometimes expected. But cirrostratus, which we are now describing this one, so cirrostratus cloud can be only possible that this can be distinguished if you see a halo around the sun or around the moon, then you can distinguish it rather than other type of clouds. And these clouds also give you the idea about that if there is cirrostratus cloud, sometimes you can also expect that within 12 or 24 hours, there is a storm coming up if there is a ultracumulus under that one. Okay, if there is another type of cloud in the middle level of the clouds, especially in the middle level there is a cloud, and this also an indication that within 12 or 24 hours you can expect rain or snowfall. So that type of fact is mostly happen in higher altitude country where there is much of the lower amount of the temperature can be found. So cirrostratus give you don't give you the rainfall much of them, but you can expect 12 or 24 hours after or within this time you can expect some rain or snowfall. Now we are going to describe about the mid-level clouds, which is extended from 2 kilometer to 6 kilometer. And as I said before, that is also depending on the altitude, time of the year, and of the vertical temperature structure of the troposphere, because some of the area which is very much cool in 2 kilometers above, and some of the areas which is like a little bit warmer in condition. So depending on that, mid-level clouds vary from 2 kilometer to 6 kilometers. And we can expect also in the middle level clouds, we can also expect liquid form, and also sometimes we can expect the ice form also, depending on the location. And there are two different types of middle level clouds. One is altostratus, another is altrocumulus. As I said before, alto means mid-level. So mid-level stratus and mid-level cumulus. Stratus means layer, that means mid-level layers, and mid-level hip pile-like structure. So two different types of clouds we can expect from the mid-level structure. Now come to altrocumulus. Altrocumulus clouds are composed of water droplets, and rarely it is greater than the 1 kilometer thickness. So thickness inside it is maximum 1 kilometer thickness of these clouds. And also that can be another example, another distinguishing characteristic is altrocumulus clouds have two different colors in the same cloud. One is white, one other is grayish in color. See this one, these are white looking structure and these are gray looking structure. So in one part that is in different color than other parts. This is another characteristics of the altrocumulus. And also you can say little piled up of the castle, looking like some castle is made up in your sky. So we can expect that things also in here. And you can also distinguish this one with low level clouds differently. I will explain in low level clouds also. So this is thick 1 kilometer. They are different color shape and they are piled up. They are created little castle-like structure, and that also a indication that humid summer morning, or in the evening, a thunderstorm is coming. So this type clouds can give you an idea that thunderstorm can be happen. Okay, and that is mostly in case of in the morning or in the evening time. That means afternoon. So sometimes you can also see in our country also in the morning there is a shower, a splash of shower has been happened couple of hours or maybe more, and maybe in the evening also you can see a little bit, and the full day is very dry in condition. So you can expect that is coming from altrocumulus in the mid level of the clouds. And then another type of mid-level clouds is altostratus, which is gray to blue in color. So it is not clear in here, but you can see some gray color clouds in here. This is altostratus. You can see also in here. Yeah. So this color will also see that it is a good indication that this cloud is visible only if there is sun in there, and you cannot see the sun very clearly, and it is looking like the sun is floating in the water. So this is an indication of the altostratus. And you see this cloud cannot be seen very nicely by your open eyes. Okay, it is a mid-level cloud and layer cloud, and you cannot see very nicely these clouds because of this cloud is not piled up. That's why you cannot see very nicely. But from the cloud, from inside the cloud, you can also see the light of the sun, and you can see the light also. So this is a distinguished characteristics of the altostratus, and there is no hollow created around the sun. So you should not confuse with altostratus with cirrostratus, because in the cirrostratus there should be a hollow, but here is no hollow. So that's why it is different than others. But this gray and this bluish gray color, that is an indication of the altostratus. And altostratus, from the altostratus cloud, you can expect rainfall. You can expect ice crystals also. You can also expect water droplets also. And thick cirrostratus clouds can be confused occasionally, but not too much. And as I said, it also extended a very long distance in the sky, maybe 100 of kilometers square. So 100 kilometers means huge. So you can expect continuous rainfall from that type of clouds. Continuous means long time rainfall from the altostratus. So altostratus characteristics is much distinguishable, but in your open eye, maybe you cannot see the piled up cloud in there. So you can only expect the cloud to see very nicely when the watery sun is in there. This is our altostratus cloud. And altostratus cloud is widespread, and that's why we can expect a long time precipitation, which is also even confused with nimbostratus cloud, a low level clouds. But again, I should say we should not confuse about that because of these appearances, because in the nimbostratus we don't expect this watery sun. So this is a good indication and good characteristics of the altostratus. Now we are going to describe about the low level clouds. Low level clouds, which is started from the ground to 2 kilometers around, and most of the cases in the low level clouds we can expect water droplets rather than the freezing condition, or sometimes we can expect freezing rain but not ice crystals. We can also expect the sometimes it is precipitation free, no precipitation undefined, or we can also expect some drizzle or some mist in condition. So see about the first one again. See this one. So this is our mid-level, low-level clouds. There is cumulus, there is cumulonimbus, nimbostratus, stratocumulus, stratus. You can see only the cumulonimbus clouds that is too much piled up and which started from low level, that means from the ground, and very high, that means it also extended to the top of the level. So these piled up things, they can extend it from low level, mid level, or even high level. Rather than all the clouds, they remain in the lower atmosphere, that means around 3 kilometers. So most of the cases we are expecting liquid water from here. Sometimes we don't expect any rainfall. Sometimes we also expect very tiny drizzle in conditions. So cumulonimbus give you a huge amount of the rainfall, and also nimbostratus give you a huge amount of the rainfall. Stratocumulus, cumulus, and stratus, they don't give much of the rainfall, but maybe little bit of the rainfall, or maybe sometimes drizzle or mist in condition. So these two clouds are most common for the precipitation happening. Now we are going to describe each of them. So at the very first, we are going to describe about nimbostratus, which is dark gray in color. This is first criteria. Nimbostratus should be very dark in color, and this is wet looking, cloudy, associated with more or less continuously falling rain or snow. So we can expect much of the precipitation in here. But again, nimbostratus also don't give you huge amount of rain. They don't give that. They will give you rain, but relatively low in form. So we can expect light or moderate rainfall from that type of clouds. And it can expected that nimbostratus will not go too far. So nimbostratus will up to be, this nimbostratus will up to be 3 kilometers, not too much. And there is another characteristics of nimbostratus is a ragged shape. What do you mean by ragged? Ragged means torn up, or which is cutted out. You see, there is no definite shape in here. So this is looking like torn clothes. See, looking like torn clothes. These are the clouds, and you can see whole the sky has been covered up, and you are making some. There is no light in there, and you can also see this is much of the cloud throughout the sky, and you can expect a huge amount of the rainfall. But actually, nimbostratus will give you rain, definitely rainfall, but light and moderate, not too much, because of the piled up is not too much. Sometimes we are also very confused about the nimbostratus with altostratus. So nimbostratus is looking like this. Can you just remember how do look like altostratus? Altostratus is a watery sun that can be seen, but in this nimbostratus you cannot see the watery sun. So just a quick one. This is our altostratus. This is altostratus. So you might be confused about, because this is also very thin, you cannot distinguish, and this is also very thin, you cannot distinguish. But you should not confused, because in the nimbostratus you cannot see the watery sun. Why you cannot see that? Because nimbostratus cloud is very near to your ground. So as it is very near to ground, is obstacles your sight. You cannot see very far away. Another thing is, in nimbostratus, in the lower level of the nimbostratus, some fog or maybe some water vapor, they can also be taking energy, and they can be also turned to water vapor or vapor form. And when it is in water vapor form, they are also separated from the main nimbostratus cloud, and that can also very swift away. That cloud can be, or that mist, or what you can say, that foggy condition, they can also be very swift away, passing away by a strong wind, because because of that lightweight nimbostratus move down of the nimbostratus, the formation of some other clouds, they can move away. And if this air becomes saturated, that means if it is saturated enough, then only that type of clouds can be formed. And that is also nimbostratus. That is not different, but their formation is different. So nimbostratus is covering up your whole area, whole of the sky. So you cannot see any other things. You can see only the turned up, different turning up or cutted off shape of the clouds. And this shape is also so spreaded up that you cannot see any sky or bluish sky, but and also cannot see the sunlight very nicely. You cannot see that. You expected too much rainfall, but this will give you moderate moderate to light rainfall to you. Next level is stratocumulus. So it is nimbostratus, now stratocumulus. Stratocumulus is lumpy clouds, that means piled up, some appears in rows and patches and rounded masses in the bluish sky. So in this bluish sky, you can see a lumpiness and clouds too much in here. What kind of clouds? Continuous lightning. Protoy. Yes, I am going there. Lightning is actually coming from the cumulonimbus clouds. I didn't explain it, so that will be coming later. I'm going there. But stratocumulus, you see, these stratocumulus give you the idea about the hip-like structures. But there is a difference between these stratocumulus and altrocumulus. Can you just remember altrocumulus? Just I make you understand. This is altrocumulus. So looking like these clouds, this cloud also looking like same. This is also looking like same, but there is a difference. Can you just remember that one? That is a structure which cannot be too lower in form, first of all. And then this is the structure by which you can also see the bluish sky. Can you see this bluish sky? And you can also see the sunlight somewhere. The white color, you see? There is white color and blue color sky, you can see. Sorry? Sorry, do you have any question? No. Okay, so stratocumulus give you the idea about the bluish color of the sky. You can see it, but it is looking like that altrocumulus, but there is difference. How can you differentiate it? You can see this blue color in here much more, and this piled up in a form, so that you can also see that this is light to dark gray. Light, this is light, okay, and dark gray color also. Okay, and you can distinguish in a very easy way. If you give your hand and just take it like this, so this is your thumbnail, and if you see in your own eyes, if you just keep it in front of the sky, and then if the chunk of the cloud is like height of this one of your thumbnail, then you can say that is altrocumulus. Okay, and if you give your hand and just if this cloud is height about your fist, this is your fist, so it is bigger than your thumbnail and also composed of, so if it is like this one, then you can say this is a stratocumulus. So you can differentiate very easily. Why it is like this? Because altrocumulus is your far away, so it should be very small, and that should be your thumbnail height. And if it is your fist height, because the stratocumulus is very near to you, so it is much more bigger height, bigger wide spread. So that is your like your fist, like this much. So you can differentiate between stratocumulus to altrocumulus. Is it okay for you? Can you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then
sir, in writing answer, sir, can we give this like as example, like if this height is like thumbnail and it is
yeah,
all,
you can give it. You can. I also mentioned it from this I write it down. Look, generally be about the size of the thumbnail. All stratocumulus also usually be size of the fist. I write it in here also, and I took it from these references. Whatever I am saying, I took these references from here. I didn't take anything from anywhere which the source is not in here. So you can write it because this is in the book also. I'm not explaining from my own words. Yes, I am explaining my own words, but that is coming from different references. So you can just write down it. And I also already gave you the book to you to make you understand, because if you go there, you can also read it down, and you can also, you will get the same idea and knowledge from the books, because I took the pictures from this book also. I gave you the source here, you see, source Arhens 2009. So I took the also I took different other sources also. For example, I took this from BBC Weather, this one. So I also provide you this source also, so that you can understand it. So you can differentiate between stratocumulus and altocumulus very nicely with this process. And from the stratocumulus, you don't expect much of the rainfall. Why? Because you see the clouds are sporadically diverse in nature. They are sporadically spread out all over the sky. So we don't expect much of the rainfall from there. Precipitation in the form of the shower occur in winter, perhaps. So in winter, if we have this type of clouds, sometimes we can expect some rainfall. And because at this piled up taking place, sometimes the temperature is going -5 degrees centigrade. So in that time, we can expect some of the rainfall to come out to the ground. So we don't expect much of the rainfall from the stratocumulus. So I think the time is up. I should stop here, and maybe the remaining 3 clouds of lower level I will explain in the next class. So now if you have any question regarding today's class, you can ask me. If you have any question, you can ask me, please. Okay, so if you don't have any question, may I ask Siam to just provide me the absent roll number?
Okay, sir.
Today you are present 22, I see in here. Maybe you know better, so you give me the
And
absent.
have electricity issue, sir. Sir, roll number 104 and sir 139, sir. Sir,
No?
24, sir.
24. Okay. Okay. So you will give me the another four roll number. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So thank you joining me, and hopefully we'll come back again in Thursday same time.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you joining me.